Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins for collectors and history enthusiasts alike, the 1961 Lincoln penny. A 1-cent coin that may look ordinary at first glance but hides secrets and potential value that can surprise even seasoned numismatists. If you've ever wondered how a coin minted decades ago could still catch the eye of collectors and investors today, stay with us because this is a journey into history, rarity, and the subtle details that make coins like this so captivating. The 1961 Lincoln penny was struck in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark below the date. This was during a period when Lincoln pennies were produced primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, with San Francisco occasionally contributing to special mintings. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has graced the penny since 1909. The reverse displays the wheat ears, a classic motif that continued until 1958, but in 1961, pennies transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, giving this coin a blend of historical significance and collectible charm. Collectors are particularly interested in the 1961 penny for a variety of reasons. One of the first things to note is mintage numbers and survival rates. While the overall mintage for the Denver Mint in 1961 was high, many coins were circulated, meaning that finding specimens in near-mint condition can be rare. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition command higher attention because the details of Lincoln's hair, the word Liberty, and the date are sharper and more distinct. Even small variations, like slight doubling in the date or mint mark, can turn an ordinary penny into a sought-after collectible. Speaking of variations, one of the most fascinating aspects of the 1961 Lincoln penny is the presence of die errors and anomalies. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets are particularly interesting for collectors. For example, a penny with a slight doubling on the date or the word Liberty can draw significant interest. While these errors might look minor to the untrained eye, they dramatically affect a coin's rarity and value. Some coins may even show die cracks or die breaks, tiny imperfections in the minting process that make each coin unique. These subtle details are what excite collectors, as they represent the fascinating intersection of history, artistry, and minting technology. Another factor that makes the 1961 penny desirable is its condition and grading. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G4, to mint state, MS70, with uncirculated coins in MS65 to MS67 being particularly prized. The difference of a single point in grading can affect the coin's value significantly, because collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are virtually flawless. High-grade coins often retain their original red color, RD, or red-brown, RB, luster, which adds to their appeal. A coin with vibrant color, minimal scratches, and strong strike features will attract serious collectors and investors alike. For anyone considering adding a 1961 Lincoln penny to their collection, understanding market trends is essential. While this coin was produced in the millions, finding one in pristine condition with no wear, scratches, or discoloration is increasingly rare. The market for Lincoln pennies is strong, particularly among those who specialize in collecting mint state coins from the 1960s. Auction houses and coin dealers often highlight such pennies as great opportunities for both beginners and experienced collectors. It's also worth noting the historical context of 1961. This was a time of major social and political change in the United States, with the Lincoln penny serving as a constant, familiar piece of currency amidst evolving times. Owning a coin from this era is not just about numismatic value, it's about holding a tangible piece of history in your hands, a small object that has passed through countless lives and tells a story of its era. And now, let's talk real market value. Depending on the condition and any unique minting errors, a standard circulated 1961 Lincoln penny typically sells for a few cents to a couple of dollars. However, coins in mint state condition can fetch $20 to $50. Rare error coins, particularly those with doubling or off-center strikes, can command hundreds or even more at auctions. Serious collectors actively seek these special examples because of their rarity and historical significance. and the thrill of adding a rare find to a collection cannot be overstated. So, if you've ever found a 1961D Lincoln penny in your pocket change, coin roll, or attic collection, examine it closely. Look for sharp details, doubling, unusual markings, and condition. This coin may be more than just a simple penny, it could be a hidden gem that brings both enjoyment and potential monetary value to your collection. Collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike appreciate the Lincoln penny not just as currency, but as a story, a piece of art, and a bridge to the past. In conclusion, the 1961D Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin that represents a combination of history, artistry, and numismatic intrigue. Its value varies depending on condition and rarity, but for anyone passionate about coin collecting, this penny is a must-have. The standard coin in circulated condition can sell for a few cents to $1, but high-grade mint state coins can reach $20 to $50. Rare error coins can achieve hundreds of dollars in auctions, making this small coin a big player in the world of numismatics. Collectors, take note, the 1961D Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. It's a slice of history, a collectible treasure, and for the attentive eye, a coin that could add significant value to your collection. Pay attention to its details, preserve its condition, and you could have a piece of American history that's worth much more than its face value today. Coin number 2. A coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and numismatists, the 1963D Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that has quietly become a sought-after collectible. Even if you've handled a Lincoln penny countless times, this specific coin has unique qualities, minting variations, and historical significance that make it stand out from the millions of pennies produced during its era. The 1963D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark below the date. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained largely unchanged since 1909. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat ears design in 1959, marking Lincoln's 150th birthday. This combination of historical significance and classic design elements has made the 1963D penny a favorite among collectors. What makes this coin truly interesting is not just its design, but its rarity and condition variations. While millions were minted, the majority were circulated and show signs of wear, making coins in uncirculated or mint state condition considerably rarer. Collectors look for coins with sharp details in Lincoln's hair, crisp lettering in Liberty, and a well-defined date. Coins that retain their original red color or red-brown tone are particularly desirable. Even a slight fading or discoloration can impact the value, which is why careful examination is essential. The 1963D Lincoln penny is also known for minting errors, which makes certain specimens highly collectible. Examples include double die errors, off-center strikes, and die cracks. A coin with noticeable doubling on the date or the word Liberty can attract significant attention and demand at auctions. These errors occur due to imperfections in the minting process, and each one is unique, giving collectors an opportunity to own something truly special. Even minor anomalies, like a weak strike or a small planchet flaw, can increase the coin's interest among numismatists. Condition and grading play a vital role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G4, to mint state, MS70, with uncirculated coins graded MS65 and above commanding the highest interest. High-grade 1963D pennies often retain their original luster and color, and show no signs of handling or circulation. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for these coins because of their rarity and preservation. Even minor differences in strike quality, color, or surface condition can significantly affect the market value. The historical context of 1963 adds another layer of appeal. This was a period of social and political change in the United States, and the Lincoln penny serves as a tangible connection to that era. Holding a 1963D penny is not just about owning currency, it's about holding a piece of history. It's a coin that has traveled through time, passing from hand to hand, carrying the stories of the people and the era it was minted in. For collectors, this narrative adds emotional and historical value beyond the coin's monetary worth. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to the 1963D Lincoln penny because it represents both history and potential value. Standard circulated coins are generally worth a few cents to a couple of dollars, but coins in mint state condition can fetch $10 to $25, depending on grade. Rare error coins, such as those with doubling, off-center strikes, or die cracks, can command hundreds of dollars in auctions. Serious collectors actively search for these anomalies, knowing that finding one could be the highlight of their collection. For anyone looking to add a 1963 Lincoln penny to their collection, attention to detail is crucial. Examine the coin for sharpness in the design, clarity of the date and mint mark, and any unusual features or errors. Coins with exceptional luster, full strike, and no blemishes are considered top tier by collectors. Even coins with minor mint errors can become conversation pieces and valuable additions to a collection. In conclusion, the 1963 Lincoln penny is much more than a simple 1-cent coin. It is a bridge to history, a collectible treasure, and a fascinating example of mid-20th century minting. Its value varies depending on condition, rarity, and the presence of minting errors. Circulated coins typically sell for a few cents to a couple of dollars, while uncirculated coins can reach $10 to $25. Rare error coins with doubling or off-center strikes can achieve hundreds of dollars at auction, making this coin a small object with significant potential value. Collectors, history enthusiasts, and coin lovers should pay close attention to the 1963 Lincoln penny. Its combination of historical context, potential errors, and preservation makes it a must-have for any serious collection. Whether you're a beginner looking to start your coin collection or an experienced numismatist hunting for unique specimens, the 1963 Lincoln penny offers both enjoyment and the possibility of substantial value. Examine each detail, preserve its condition, and you may find that this small coin holds more than just its face value. It holds a piece of history, and potentially, a treasure in your collection. Coin number 3. We are going to talk about a coin that almost everyone has seen, many people have spent without a second thought, and yet collectors know it can still hide fascinating surprises. The United States of America Lincoln 1-cent coin dated 1966. At first glance, this penny looks ordinary. It carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that Americans had already trusted and recognized for decades. But behind this simple copper coin is a story that makes collectors slow down, look closer, and sometimes get very excited. The year 1966 sits in a very interesting period of U.S. coin history. During the 1960s, America was facing rising metal prices, especially copper. Because of this, the U.S. Mint made several changes that still affect coin values today. One of the most important things to understand about the 1966 Lincoln penny is that it was produced without any mint mark. That means whether it was struck in Philadelphia or San Francisco, the coin carries no letter under the date. This decision alone makes the year special and often confusing for new collectors, but exciting for experienced ones. Most 1966 pennies were made in huge numbers, which is why many people think they are all common. However, rarity in coins does not always come from low mintage alone. Condition, striking quality, and especially errors can transform an everyday coin into something truly collectible. Many 1966 pennies were weakly struck, meaning Lincoln's hair, beard, and the lettering may appear soft. Finding a sharply struck example with strong details is far more difficult than people expect, and collectors are always searching for those premium quality pieces. Errors are where the 1966 Lincoln penny really becomes interesting. Some examples were struck on improperly prepared planchets, leading to off-center strikes where part of the design is missing. Others show doubled die characteristics, where the letters "In Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. There are also pennies from this year with die cracks, cuds, and dramatic rim breaks that make each piece unique. These errors are not just mistakes, they are snapshots of the minting process going wrong, and collectors love them because no two are exactly the same. Another detail that collectors pay attention to is color. Since the 1966 penny is made mostly of copper, its surface changes over time. Coins that still retain bright red color from the original minting are much harder to find today. Most have turned brown or red-brown after decades of circulation. A fully red example with minimal marks can immediately stand out in a collection and attract strong interest. This is why coin lovers are always told to look carefully before spending old pennies. A 1966 Lincoln penny pulled from pocket change might not look special at first, but under proper lighting and magnification, it could reveal an error, an unusually sharp strike, or exceptional preservation. For collectors, the thrill comes from the hunt, the history, and the possibility that something small can hold unexpected value. The story of this coin is also a story of everyday America. These pennies passed through countless hands during a time of social change, economic challenges, and cultural shifts. Each one carries silent history, and when collectors hold them, they are holding a piece of that era. That emotional connection is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive and rewarding. If you are a collector, or even just someone curious about coins, the 1966 Lincoln penny deserves your attention. Look closely at the date, the lettering, the edges, and the overall condition. Take your time. This is not just about money, it is about discovery, knowledge, and appreciation for the craftsmanship and history behind a simple 1-cent coin. And now, let us talk about value, because this is what many people are waiting for. A typical circulated 1966 Lincoln penny is usually worth only a small premium over face value. However, examples in high mint state condition can be worth several dollars in the real market. Coins with strong red color and sharp strikes can sell for significantly more. Error coins from this year can be worth from tens of dollars to hundreds of dollars, depending on the type and severity of the error. Exceptional error pieces and top-grade examples have achieved auction prices reaching into the high hundreds of dollars and, in rare cases, even higher, all described in words and not numbers, making them true treasures for lucky collectors. Coin number 4. We are diving into one of the most confusing, most searched, and most exciting modern coins in United States history, the Lincoln 1-cent coin dated 1982. This is not just another penny. This is a year that changed American coinage forever, and many people still do not realize what they might be holding in their own hands. If you are a coin lover, a collector, or someone who enjoys hidden treasures, listen very carefully, because this story can completely change the way you look at pennies. The year 1982 is legendary among collectors because it marks the transition from mostly copper pennies to zinc-based pennies. Rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to change the metal composition of the 1-cent coin. What makes this year special is that the Mint did not switch overnight. Instead, both copper and zinc pennies were produced during the same year. This single decision created multiple varieties, and that is where rarity begins. In 1982, Lincoln pennies were struck in different compositions, different weights, and even with different styles of numbers. Some pennies from this year are made mostly of copper and feel heavier in the hand. Others are made of zinc with a thin copper coating and feel noticeably lighter. Collectors often use a scale to identify them, but many people discover the difference just by touch. This alone makes 1982 pennies fascinating, because a simple pocket find can turn into a learning experience, but it does not stop there. The date itself comes in two styles, commonly known as large date and small date. The shape of the numbers, especially the number 2, can tell a trained eye exactly which variety it is. Some combinations are common, while others are much harder to find. One particular variety has become famous and highly desirable, turning an ordinary-looking penny into a serious collector prize. Errors also play a massive role in the value of 1982 pennies. During the transition year, mistakes happened more often than usual. Some pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, creating dramatic weight mismatches. Others show weak strikes, off-center designs, or doubled details in the lettering. There are also examples with die cracks, missing elements, and unusual surfaces that make collectors stop and stare. Condition is another critical factor. Most 1982 pennies were heavily circulated, scratched, and discolored over time. Finding one with clean surfaces, sharp details, and original red color is far more difficult than people expect. A well-preserved example instantly stands out and becomes far more desirable in the collector market. What makes this coin truly special is the mystery and excitement around it. Collectors constantly search rolls, jars, and old collections hoping to find the right combination of date style, composition, and condition. It is a reminder that valuable coins are not always ancient or gold. Sometimes, they are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. This coin also represents a turning point in American history. The shift away from copper reflects economic pressures and changing times. Every 1982 penny tells a story not only of Lincoln, but of a nation adapting to new realities. Holding one is like holding a small piece of that transition. If you enjoy coin collecting, the 1982 Lincoln penny deserves your attention more than almost any modern coin. Take your time. Weigh it. Study the date. Examine the lettering. Learn the differences. This is the kind of coin that rewards patience and knowledge, and that makes the hunt incredibly enjoyable. Now let us talk about value. Most common 1982 pennies in circulated condition are worth only a small amount above face value. However, certain varieties in strong uncirculated condition can be worth several dollars in the real market. Scarcer combinations, especially those with the correct date style and composition, can sell for dozens of dollars. Major error coins and rare varieties have achieved auction prices worth hundreds of dollars, and the most desirable examples have reached into the thousands of dollars range in words, proving that a simple 1-cent coin can truly become a collector's treasure. Coin number 5. We are uncovering the story of a Lincoln 1-cent coin that most people overlook, yet collectors quietly study with great interest. The United States of America Lincoln penny dated 1981 may seem ordinary at first glance, but this coin sits at a very important moment in modern coin history. It comes just before a major change, and that timing alone makes it special for anyone who truly understands coins. The 1981 Lincoln penny was struck during the final years when the United States was still producing pennies made mostly of copper. This was a time when rising metal costs were already creating pressure on the mint. Collectors today see 1981 as one of the last chapters of the classic copper cent era. Because of this, many coin lovers actively seek high-quality examples from this year to complete their collections. One of the most interesting things about the 1981 penny is how different coins from the same year can appear. Some were struck with strong detail, showing clear lines in Lincoln's hair, sharp lettering, and a bold overall design. Others were weakly struck, with flat details and soft edges. Finding a sharply struck example is far more difficult than many people think, and this difference in quality plays a huge role in value. Mint marks also add to the story. 1981 pennies were produced at multiple mints, and collectors carefully compare them for strike quality and surface condition. Some mints produced coins that are more commonly found with marks and scratches, while cleaner examples are much scarcer today. This makes searching through rolls and old collections especially exciting. Errors are where the 1981 Lincoln penny becomes truly fascinating. During high-speed production, mistakes happened, and some of these mistakes survived circulation. Collectors have found off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, doubled lettering that gives words a shadow-like appearance, and die cracks that create raised lines across the coin. There are also pennies with clipped planchets, uneven edges, and unusual surface textures. Each error tells a story of the minting process going wrong for just a moment. Color is another major factor. Since these pennies are mostly copper, they change over time. Many have turned brown after decades of use. Coins that still retain bright red or red-brown color are much harder to find. A well-preserved red example from 1981 can immediately attract attention and demand from collectors. What makes this coin especially enjoyable for collectors is that it is still accessible. You do not need to search ancient hoards or expensive auctions to find one. Many are still hiding in jars, drawers, and old piggy banks. The thrill comes from knowing that an ordinary-looking penny could turn out to be something special once you examine it closely. This coin also represents a moment just before a major shift in American coinage. Only a short time later, the mint would change the metal composition of the penny. Because of that, the 1981 Lincoln cent feels like a farewell to an era. For many collectors, owning a beautiful example is about more than money. It is about history, craftsmanship, and connection to the past. If you love coins, take your time with this one. Look closely at the date, the lettering, the rims, and the overall surface. Use good light and, if possible, magnification. Learn what a strong strike looks like. Learn how errors appear. This knowledge turns a simple penny into a source of excitement and pride. Now let us talk about value. Most circulated 1981 Lincoln pennies are generally worth only a small amount above face value in the real market. Uncirculated examples with strong detail and attractive color can be worth several dollars. Error coins from this year can sell for tens of dollars, depending on the type and condition. Exceptional high-grade pieces and dramatic errors have reached auction prices worth hundreds of dollars in words, proving that even a humble 1-cent coin can become a true collector treasure. Coin number 6. We are exploring a Lincoln 1-cent coin that has created excitement, mystery, and serious attention among collectors for decades. The United States of America Lincoln penny dated 1969 is not just another old coin. It belongs to a dramatic era in American history and an even more dramatic chapter in U.S. coin collecting. Many people have seen this penny, some have spent it, and a few very lucky collectors have discovered that this year can hide something truly extraordinary. At first look, the 1969 Lincoln penny appears familiar. Abraham Lincoln's portrait faces right, calm and strong, just as it had for years. But the late 1960s were a time of enormous pressure at the U.S. Mint. Coin demand was high, production was fast, and mistakes happen more often than people realize. This environment is exactly what allowed rare and valuable varieties to be created. One of the reasons collectors focus so closely on 1969 pennies is strike quality. Many coins from this year were weakly struck, with soft details in Lincoln's hair and beard. Finding a sharply struck example with bold lettering and clean surfaces is much harder than expected. When collectors find one, it immediately stands out and becomes desirable. Mint varieties are another key point of interest. Pennies from this year were produced at different mints, and collectors carefully compare them. Some mint versions are common, while others are famous for their rarity. Serious collectors know that a small detail under the date can completely change a coin's importance, and 1969 is a perfect example of why knowledge matters. Errors are where this coin becomes legendary. The 1969 Lincoln penny is famous for dramatic double die errors. On these rare examples, the words on the front of the coin appear strongly doubled, almost like a shadow effect. The doubling can be seen clearly in the date and the lettering, and it is not subtle. These coins were once mistaken for counterfeits because the doubling was so bold, but they were later confirmed as genuine mint errors. This discovery turned them into one of the most talked about Lincoln penny varieties ever. There are also other errors collectors watch for, including off-center strikes, die cracks, and unusual planchet flaws. Each error tells a story of the minting process breaking down for just a moment. These moments are rare, and when preserved on a coin, they become history you can hold in your hand. Color and condition play a massive role as well. Since these pennies are made mostly of copper, time has changed their appearance. Most examples today are brown from circulation. Coins that still show bright red color with minimal marks are far scarcer and far more valuable. Collectors will pay strong premiums for beauty and originality. What makes the 1969 Lincoln penny so exciting is the contrast between how ordinary it looks and how extraordinary it can be. It reminds collectors that treasure does not always shine. Sometimes it hides quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone patient enough to look closely. This coin also reflects the spirit of its time. The year 1969 was full of change, tension, and progress in America. These pennies traveled through that era in pockets and purses, witnessing history silently. For collectors, owning one is about connection as much as it is about rarity. If you love coin collecting, this is a year you should never ignore. Take out a magnifying glass. Study the letters. Compare examples. Learn the difference between normal coins and true varieties. This is how collectors turn curiosity into discovery. Now let us talk about value. Common circulated 1969 Lincoln pennies are usually worth only a small premium over face value in the real market. High-quality uncirculated examples can be worth several dollars. Certain rare varieties are worth dozens of dollars even in lower condition. The most famous doubled die examples from this year have achieved auction prices worth tens of thousands of dollars in words, making the 1969 Lincoln penny one of the most valuable and exciting 1-cent coins in United States history. Coin number 7. We are going to talk about a Lincoln 1-cent coin that many people have seen, many people have spent, and very few people have truly studied. The United States of America Lincoln penny dated 1974 is one of those coins that looks ordinary but can become extremely interesting once you understand what to look for. This is the kind of coin that rewards patience, attention, and curiosity, and for collectors, it can turn a simple moment into real excitement. The year 1974 sits in the middle of a very busy period for the U.S. Mint. Millions of pennies were being produced to meet everyday demand, and when production moves fast, small mistakes can happen. Most 1974 pennies were made of copper, giving them a solid feel and a rich color when new. Over time, many of these coins darkened due to circulation, but the original metal composition still makes them desirable to collectors who appreciate classic copper cents. One of the first things collectors notice about the 1974 Lincoln penny is strike quality. Some examples show sharp details in Lincoln's portrait, clear lettering, and strong rims. Others appear flat, with weak hair detail and soft words. Finding a well-struck example from this year is more challenging than it seems, and those coins stand out immediately in a collection. Mint differences also add to the story. Pennies from different mints can show noticeable variations in quality. Some are more prone to marks and scratches, while others were struck more cleanly. Collectors often compare these carefully, because subtle differences can greatly affect desirability. Errors are where the 1974 penny truly becomes exciting. This year produced a variety of mint errors that collectors actively search for. Off-center strikes are among the most noticeable, where the design appears shifted, leaving part of the coin blank. There are also doubled die varieties where the lettering or date appears doubled, sometimes clearly visible to the naked eye. Die cracks and cuds are also found on some coins, creating raised lines or blobs of metal that should not be there. Each error makes the coin unique and tells a story of a brief moment when the minting process went wrong. Planchet errors are another fascinating area. Some 1974 pennies were struck on improperly prepared blanks, leading to unusual textures, incorrect weights, or incomplete designs. These coins often confuse non-collectors but excite experienced ones, because they are physical evidence of minting mistakes that escape detection. Color plays a major role in value as well. Because these pennies are copper, their surface changes over time. Most circulated examples are brown today. Coins that still show bright red or red-brown color with minimal wear are far scarcer. Collectors strongly prefer coins with original color and clean surfaces, and they are willing to pay more for that quality. What makes the 1974 Lincoln penny especially enjoyable is how accessible it still is. You do not need to search rare vaults to find one. Many are still hiding in old jars, rolls, and collections. The excitement comes from knowing that one careful look could reveal something special. This coin also reflects everyday American life during the 1970s. These pennies passed through countless hands during a time of economic change and cultural shifts. Holding one is like holding a small piece of that era, preserved in copper. If you are a coin lover, take this coin seriously. Look closely at the date, the lettering, the edges, and the overall surface. Learn the signs of errors. Learn what strong detail looks like. This knowledge transforms a simple penny into a source of joy and discovery. Now let us talk about value. Most circulated 1974 Lincoln pennies are generally worth only a small amount above face value in the real market. Uncirculated examples with strong detail and attractive color can be worth several dollars. Error coins from this year can sell for tens of dollars, depending on the type and condition. Exceptional error pieces and top-quality examples have reached auction prices worth hundreds of dollars in words, proving that even a common-looking 1-cent coin can become a meaningful and valuable collector treasure.